Welcome back, dear listeners, to Down the Yellow Brick Pod. EmKay here, joined as always by my co-host, Tara Tag, wearing an amazing sweatshirt with Dorothy and Toto on it for our special guest today. We are absolutely thrillified to be diving back into the world of the Wicked films today. It's been a while. We've been having withdrawals, Tara. Like, that was our whole life for 2 years.
It was our whole life.
It was our whole life. But today we are over the rainbow to be joined by an actress whose face was a mystery for quite some time. And she's going to share about her experience diving into the film and beyond. So please welcome none other than Wicked's Dorothy, Bethany Weaver. Welcome, Bethany.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so elated.
I think we were some of your first Wicked fan followers. Can you talk about
Yes. So I got to go to an early screening of Wicked for Good in New York, early November, I want to say. And I stayed for those credits. I was like, who is Dorothy? We must know. And I was like, Tara, Bethany Weaver, look her up, find her, get her on the pod. Tara didn't want spoilers, but I was like, I have to tell you this one thing. And she followed you instantly. We've been fangirls.
I watched your Instagram blow up.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I know it went crazy. My phone has never vibrated so much in my entire life. And I had like 900 followers and it's now gone to like 32,200, which is lovely. Crazy. It's so nice that so many people kind of want to see Dorothy and Bethany. So I'm so grateful. It's lovely. I love it. I welcome it. It's really nice.
Oh, so incredible.
But we were there in the 900. Just want to say.
We were there. We're the OGs, okay?
1,000. I love it. My OGs. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
You got it.
Okay, so Bethany, what Wicked film costume speaks to your energy today? Are you feeling like Glinda's popular dress? Are you Elphaba's hat, like pointy? Ooh. Are you the silver slippers glistening in the sunlight? How are you feeling?
I'm always the silver slippers glistening in the sunlight. That's just my general vibe. I always feel like I'm just skipping through life. And what better way to do it than in silver shoes? Hey.
Oh, and they're so gorgeous. They're stunning.
I know. And
we will talk about them.
Yes, I can't wait to share all.
That was a question I had.
Yeah, I was like, are these comfortable?
So comfortable. I mean, Paul Towswell and the team who designed my shoes, they were actually 4D scanned to fit just my feet. So I'm of the impression that those shoes for Dorothy, they only fit. Yeah, there's 2 sets of the shoes. We had an extra like backup pair. So one of them is labeled the hero pair. So that's the pair that I would always wear.
The hero pair.
I know. I got really dramatic about it. And I was like, oh my gosh. Lucia, one of my wonderful dressers on the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, they've labeled my shoes hero because like, is Dorothy a hero? And she was like, no, that's just so they make sure that they put the right ones on your feet. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
I know, so dramatic. I was like,
maybe not in Wicked, but she is the hero.
She is the hero, absolutely.
Do you know what the name of the other pair was?
And they didn't have one. I think they were kind of like backup
the other pair.
Yeah,
starring Nicole
Kidman.
But
they were the anti-hero.
The anti-hero, yeah. But they were so lovely. They were so comfortable. I mean, they were just beautiful, and they would glisten in the sunlight because we filmed quite a lot of all of the Yellow Brick Road actually was filmed outside. And if anyone listening has been to the UK and have specifically been in May, the weather is very temperamental. So it's sunny 1 minute, it's pouring down with rain the next, then there's a rainbow, then it's sunny again, and then it's hailstones. So I'm really all of the above, and I really admire the film crew's perseverance, honestly, with getting through those outside shots. But what commitment! I think that really sets the tone of the dedication. Not only the actors, but also all of the cast and crew and all the creatives. They really committed to every step of the way, every brick in that Yellow Brick Road. So fabulous.
Were you mostly filming in May 2023?
Well, I was filming for a very long time, actually.
Yeah.
I
Got
was
it.
filming from March 2024, and my last day on set was May 2025. So
Wow.
it was really spread out. I mean,
Yeah.
if I kind of compacted all of my days on set, it was maybe 3 weeks, but that was spread across
Over a
almost
year.
almost
Yeah.
yeah, like almost like 2 years of my life. And
Yeah.
we had the actor strike, which absolutely needed to happen, so we had a quick little intermission break there
Yeah, helped.
to settle some things in the industry that needed aligning. And then, yeah, one day I'd be in for filming part one, and then the next day I'd be in filming, the witch hunt. So it was,
That's
you know, I'm
wild.
I'm so lucky that I'm a musical theatre kid and I work professionally in theatre, because I could kind of mentally think, oh, I'm in Act Two today, I'm in
Mm-hmm.
Act One next week. Okay, so like it's really helpful actually, because I could then kind of realize where the story was, where it was going, what had happened beforehand, what characters were involved. So, you
Yeah.
know, I think every Oz fan is also so incredibly lucky that the stage show is still very much alive and thriving and kicking, both in the UK and America, and in where is it at the moment? It was in Dubai. It's moved on to somewhere else now. I really hope it's still running and bringing people some bits of joy, considering that part of the world is a little bit spicy at the moment. So it's,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's such a joyous narrative, actually, and there's so much depth to it. So it was really wonderful to be a very, very small presence and part of it.
Mm.
Love. Well, let's talk a little bit about we like to ask about like Oz DNA because we are very much convinced that Oz is in the fabric of most childhoods of today, and it's that generational thing that we can share. Your grandma could have seen it as a kid, the MGM film, and you could have the same kind of experience. So what was your exposure to the world of Oz growing up? Did you have any trips to Oz via a school play, something that you clung on to? And then we'd love to hear about like Wicked's introduction into your life as the musical.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I was really lucky. I think I first watched The Wizard of Oz when I was about 5 years old. And, I've grown up in the era of really wonderful original Disney, and, where we've had the beauty of real life animation that's been drawn like moment by moment and then put on the screen. And, you know, that I love that idea of weaving Oz into like the fabric of childhood, because it literally shaped my childhood. And it was one of those moments. I remember being 5 and sat on the couch in my little pajamas, drinking my milk and watching Dorothy kind of step through that tea stained world into this like beautiful world of color. And, as a 5 year old, our imagination is probably most active and most vibrant. So, what a way to kind of bring that extra layer of imagination into your life through Oz. So I think my first experience of not only the Wizard of Oz, but also Dorothy and Judy Garland was when I was 5 years old. And, I'm a big reader, my family are big readers. So I grew up reading the original novel of The Wizard of Oz as well. So I guess I had kind of two different shapes of Dorothy from a very young age, but the kind of like pillar of my childhood was Judy Garland as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And, I'm sure lots of people can resonate with that, which is why I think even though my part in Wicked is a presence, really, it's not necessarily a huge character, but what Dorothy represents to, like you said, your grandma, right the way through to me when I was 5, she's kind of trickled through the generations, and not many characters have that power and that kind of lineage throughout people's lives in the world of film. So it's so wonderful to kind of join that legacy of ladies who have been Dorothy before me. But yeah, I've grown up with The Wizard of Oz, the MGM 1939, and also the original book as well. So yeah, I've kind of had Oz weaving through my childhood and actually throughout my life for a very, very long period of time. I'll be really honest, I haven't seen the stage show of The Wizard of Oz. It doesn't really tend to come to my part of England where I'm from, but definitely Wicked was a huge part of my life at drama school when I was training. I think it was the first musical I went to see when I was training. I was in my first year, and I think I went on my own. I used to go to the theatre a lot by myself, and
Same, same.
I'd have a prosecco and some Maltesers, and I'd read my book
The
in the
best night
interval.
ever.
Yeah, it's just lovely to experience on your own, but we're so lucky that theatre welcomes that. You can go on your own, you can go with your mum, you can go with a group of friends, you can go as like a hen do, or like a
Yes.
bachelorette before you get married. It's such a kind of universal um, event, and
Yeah.
it brings all kinds of audiences together, which I think is, that's that unity of theatre, right? And that unity of a very, very good narrative with beautiful songs and costumes and designs and acting choices, choreography. So, we're so lucky that Wicked's not only just on the stage, but John M. Chu brought it so beautifully to life with all of his wonderful creative hands helping him.
Love
Agreed.
that.
What was when you first saw it on the West End, what was your impression?
Oh my gosh, I mean, I was blown away. And I think anyone who's seen the musical, particularly Defying Gravity, and I'm so glad that Ari and Cynthia won. Was it a Grammy that they won
Yep.
for Defying Gravity?
Hmm.
Yes.
Oh, I was
Best
just
duet.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, I was so proud because, it's such an incredible song. And, I remember watching the stage show, and it was Alice Fern who was playing Elphaba.
Woo!
I
Iconic
know,
Alphaba.
who plays Glinda's mum in the
Glinda's
movie.
mom.
Oh my
Yes.
I
gosh,
love
so,
that. That's
so
so
cool.
cool.
But that's the depth of, how much thought went into the casting. There were so many kind of little like sprinkles of Wicked, not just from the movie, but also, amazing queens from the West End like Alice Fern. And I remember her going up and singing Defying Gravity, and I just was blown away. And I just remember thinking, I know I probably won't be that good because she is just angelic and, in her own wonderful bubble. But I just remember thinking, I want to be in a place like this. I want to be in Wicked. And that's kind of where the
Hmm.
manifestation started really early on, just kind of bubbling below the surface. And then, when I graduated and I started to work professionally in the business, and then I thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to be in Wicked one day. And me, I always thought mentally the stage show. And then turns out the universe had other plans for me, and the universe's plan is always bigger than your own. And then along came my audition for Dorothy in the Wicked movie, and here I am.
Please tell us about that audition. Like, how did this
Yeah.
come about? Did your agent call you? Did you get an email? We want to hear it all.
Yeah,
Yes.
and were you
Well,
in for the musical ever on
Oh yeah.
On the West End?
yes, you're the first to ask me that actually, so thank you. Yes, I went in a couple of years ago, and this is mildly ironic, but it was for Nessa Rose.
Mmm.
Yeah, I was in for Nessa Rose in the
Wearing
West
those
End.
shoes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
know. I was just
Just a
in
You're
a
different
meant
different.
to
wearer.
wear the shoes.
I was destined to
Yes.
wear those shoes, but in a different role, and being a bit more of a rascal, I guess. But yeah, I was in for the musical. Oh, it was
Cool.
just before COVID, so maybe like 6.5 years ago, and yeah, I was in for Nessa Rose, but the girl who was playing her wasn't leaving, so it didn't quite go my way. Um, and then I actually took a year out from the industry because I had worked as a carer during COVID, and I was really lucky that I got to meet really amazing people in my community, but I also nursed a lot of people at the end of their life. So,
Oh
as a
my
24-year
gosh.
old to look after people who are like moments away from death because of
Wow.
COVID and other, illnesses and reasons, it really shook me. And I thought, okay, I need to do a lot of work on myself before moving forward back into the industry. And that wasn't because of seeing that, but I think I really saw the consequence of COVID, which I'm sure lots of people did. I was talking about it today with my clients, and yeah, we just sometimes forget it happens, right? The world carries on, and movies are released, and I took a year out to really curate and cultivate a stronger, more bulletproof mindset, and be really intentional where I wanted my career to go. And my first audition back in the industry was Dorothy in Wicked.
Wow.
And
What a
it was
return.
yeah, and then it was the night before the audition. My agent phoned me out of hours, and she said, will you come in for Dorothy in the Wicked movie? And I thought, oh, I won't get that, but sure, I'll go along and see what happens. Let's test out this new bulletproof mindset, shall I? So I went to the audition, and I drove to the studio. I couldn't find a parking space, which is a first world problem in the UK. There's never enough parking spaces. And I went to the studio. My name wasn't on the list. So I thought, no, have I come to the right place? Finally got to the right place, and it was literally a girl went in and I was next. And then all of these girls were dressed in like perfect braids, skirts, beautiful outfits, and I just had like my hair down. I wore a blue jumper because I thought, oh, Dorothy blue, that will be a nice little nod. And I had my LaDuca heels on, and the girls were listening to
Come on,
something.
LeDukes.
Yes, the only other shoes I'll wear other than those crystal slippers are my LaDucas. I've got the black boot and the nude cap heels. Ooh, I feel $1,000,000 in those shoes.
I feel like I could do Fosse, even though I can't. Like I just when I put them on, I'm like, I should be in Chicago now.
I am Roxy.
They are just amazing. Yeah, but how lovely that a pair of shoes can make you feel that way, right?
Transform.
Powerful.
They can transform you. Gosh, they're great for the
I'm a dancer now.
Yeah. And it just completes the line of your leg. I'm 5'3", so it makes me feel taller and my legs longer.
Yes.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yep.
Can I ask a quick question? Like, what did they tell you were going to have to do in this audition, since you had like no notice? Such a short notice.
Yeah. They forgot to send me the brief, actually. So I just turned up.
You're just
wandering into Oz on no.
Yeah.
You're like, did I kill a witch? Did I land on anyone?
Yeah. I just wandered in like Dorothy, actually.
Love it. That worked.
Yeah, and the girls were listening. Yeah, the girls were listening to this this like thing on their phone, and I was like, oh no. So I asked them, I said, oh, what are you listening to? Did I miss something? They were like, did you not get the brief? And I was like, no.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
what were they listening to? Was it
there was just some music playing? Yeah. So in the musical, that really famous silhouette of Dorothy throwing the water over the witch. They played some music, and then the music changed, and you had to pick up a bucket and then pretend to throw the water and then be scared and then pick up a broom.
Choreographed bucketography.
Yeah. But I had maybe 2 minutes to have one go. A girl very, very kindly walked me through what I had to do. Another girl gave me her hairbands so I could do these like horrendous, like botched, not even plaits, just pigtails. I would be mortified if I saw what the back of my head looked like on that day.
That's me every day.
Oh my gosh! I mean, my hair too.
What does
it's
the
really
back of it look
Your
like?
hair is
I don't know. I think of
incredible.
Hermione.
Thank
your
you.
hair is
Your hair is
magical.
everything.
We've been watching. Do you know Carrie Russell, Felicity?
Yes.
Do you know any of that?
You are
have
Carrie
Felicity
Russell.
hair. You have Carrie Russell Felicity hair,
Thank
and that
you.
is like my favorite.
Please play her daughter
So stunning.
in something.
Oh, thank you. I know. I love my curls. They are part of my personality now. I just love it. But I went into the room, and I kind of just before I went in, I thought, oh, do you know what? If it's meant to be, it will be. What
That's the secret sauce.
Yeah, and I just thought, I'll just go in and do what they want in the moment, or what I think is best in the moment. So I went in, and I was sat down, and I was talking to Tamsin, the lovely casting director, and her team. And I think they were recording, and I was just chatting away like I usually do. We were talking, like Legally Blonde was on at Regent's Park, so we were talking about that. We were laughing over how cool it would be to be the actor that plays Bruiser. would love to play that role. And then their rug was really nice in the studio. So I was like, can I look at the label? I need one for my Pilates studio. So I was just being myself.
This
And
is
then
incredible.
You were
I
doing
know, and
interior
then
decorating.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
You're
was
like,
lovely. But I think they were looking for mannerisms and the way I moved and everything. And, then I did the audition and I said, oh, by the way, I'm really sorry I didn't get the brief. So if I do anything interesting, like, please just let me know. Like, oh, do you want another go? I was like, no, 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 it's fine. I'll see what happens. They're like, okay. And apparently from the moment I walked into the room, they were like, Dorothy. So they
oh
just
my
knew, which
gosh,
was
I
so
love that.
lovely because I was only being myself. And
Yeah.
anyone who knows me, I'm quite ridiculous in real life. And I'm really animated and just a bit carefree and silly. So it was really lovely to know that I've been cast just by being myself. And, I didn't have any time to prepare. I just kind of went
Think.
in and I
Yeah.
did what I thought was correct. And, luckily I was the right fit and the right pair of eyes. It was nothing to do with anything other than my energy and the way I moved. So, yeah,
That's
I was,
beautiful.
it was so lovely, which meant when I walked onto the set, I didn't have that pressure of, oh, I need to be a certain way. I need to do
Right.
this. I need to do that. Because realistically, the Dorothys that have come before me, I can't be them. I can't replicate what they did because what they did was so special, and I would never try and necessarily impersonate any of them. So I kind of just stepped onto the set and I trusted that what choices I brought to the table were the correct ones. And, obviously I watched The Wizard of Oz again and I picked up on some of Judy Garland's mannerisms. And, I made sure to kind of filter them into my performance through movement specifically. And yeah, it was so wonderful and playful on set. I think not just for me, but for everybody. John really allowed that space to play, and some beautiful choices were born out of that playground of a yellow brick road in Munchkinland.
Yeah. It
Yeah, it was
seems like a
wonderful.
good vibe. A good
Yeah,
place
Yes.
to
that's the
be.
main takeaway from the
Yeah.
entire Wicked experience.
Hmm.
Yeah,
The
they've set the
vibes
bar
were
very
good.
high for my
High
next.
vibes.
Yes, whatever is next in my path, my standard is very high. I'm not going to let
This
it
is true.
drop even for a moment.
Yeah, yeah. So was it just that one audition? Did you have any
Yeah,
more? Okay,
And
no,
they're
that
like,
was
you're
great,
it.
in, girl.
great.
Yeah, and then a couple of days later, my agent phoned me and she said I got the role. I just burst into tears naturally, and
Wild. Like you're in
yeah,
Wicked.
yeah, and Dorothy, what a cool
So cool.
job, yeah, and it
And
was
how
just
are you fed like how this was going to be adapted to film? Like how did you find
Yeah.
out what kind of role this was going to be? Just by
um
showing up every day?
pretty much, yeah. I think that was the beauty of the presence of Dorothy in the world of Wicked. And, naturally, it's Elphaba and Glinda's story and how their relationship kind of shapes and twists throughout, part one and part two. So, I was very much aware that I was just a presence. And I really loved how, when I watched the movie at the premiere in London, I loved how John kind of had me always moving on to another location. Like the tornado
Mm-hmm.
didn't just stop when the house fell on Nessa Rose. Like the tornado continued.
Yeah.
Whenever Dorothy was moving on to another location, the tornado continued just in this lovely blue gingham dress. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really nice. And, John never really kind of directed me in the sense that I had to do this and I had to do that. He kind of said, go from A to B and this is what's happening, and kind of just said go. So I was really lucky that I kind of was allowed to just put my mark on Dorothy, but also I brought that like armor of, Judy Garland and Diana Ross and all of those wonderful Dorothys
I
before
love
me.
that.
And it
Yeah.
was just, yeah, it was so wonderful to be a part of that journey. And, the idea was played with that my face would be shown. But
Right.
I actually walked into the role assuming that they wouldn't show my face because I've seen the musical, that you don't see
Yeah.
Dorothy's face at all. And, you don't even see her blue
Silhouette.
gingham dress. You
No.
see her silhouette.
Outline.
So
She's
Yeah.
I was
reduced.
so
Yes.
overjoyed when actually I got more screen time than the previous Dorothy's in Wicked, particularly on the stage. So
Yeah.
it was lovely to bring her back to life almost, but in a slightly smaller capsule. So it was really wonderful. And, it probably was quite distracting if they did put my face in it. And not because of me and how I look, but just because of Dorothy. Dorothy is a very wonderfully distracting character for all of the right reasons. So, I really admire the way that John decided to conceal my face. I was under the impression that that was going to be the case anyway, which meant I didn't have to wear much makeup, which was great because I don't wear makeup generally. So it was lovely. My hair took the longest to put together in those braids. So lovely Lorna, who looked after me, she really was very precise on my hair. That took about 2 hours. Makeup 10 minutes. So it was nice.
The
But
hair
your
was
hair, not a
important.
wig. Not a wig.
No,
Your hair.
it's my natural hair.
Yes.
It's I don't dye my hair, so it's my natural color in the movie. Fran,
Perfect.
who looked after me hair and makeup wise, in terms of direction, she loved that I had, I have like a natural kind of gold weaving through my hair, and it's, it's kind of like mousy brown. It's quite childlike. And she loved the color of my hair. She didn't want to put a wig on, but they did actually perm my hair. So my hair is naturally, I had hair like this when I was a baby, but my hair was wavy, and just to boost the volume without adding on a wig, they asked if I could perm my hair, and it actually went a lot curlier than I think they expected. So I hope that they almost like reawakened the natural fibers of my hair.
Yeah,
So
like
it's a
zapped
perm. Yeah, but it just stayed, and
I
it
love
was
it.
so lovely. And although I'll be honest, these aren't my real curls, but they've definitely gone curlier than expected, which is lovely. So, my hair took a really long time. Thank you. I love it. It just makes me look so much more interesting, I feel. It's a great conversation starter. I don't need a dog. I want a dog, but I don't need one because I have my hair.
You got the curly hair.
Yeah, it's a great conversation. It's great for auditions, actually. It's a great conversation starter. It's lovely. Gets the ice broken. Yeah.
Everyone get a perm. This is
Get a
the
perm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom did.
Get the Dorothy. Yeah, get the
So did
Dorothy
mine.
perm.
I feel like
The
perms
80s.
were like Gen X and boomers, they permed.
Oh yeah. That was
Yeah.
that was the thing.
Oh, it's
Now,
so
Okay.
should I get a perm? I don't think it would do
Yes.
that.
I thought of it. I begged for it in high school. My mom was like, "No."
No. To be fair,
Absolutely not.
the way they do it now, I think really it's less damaging to your hair, and it really kind of considers not absolutely toasting it. So mine's really well looked up, but I do really look after my hair as well. I'm really precious about it. I always say at home, I have a shower, then my hair has a shower. They're like two separate entities, and my hair needs a passport. Well, she's huge in the summer. Oh my goodness, my passport photo. Woo, spicy.
Just outside of the line.
Yeah, there's no white wall behind me. My hair blocks it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so back in the day, before I had that lightning moment of like, it's Bethany
Rumors,
Weaver in the credits,
speculation.
there were rumors and speculation about who was going to play Dorothy, if your face would be shown, etc., etc. So is there anything you can tell us about like...
We have to share with Bethany in case she doesn't know. We did this to Bo and Yang too. Sutton Foster was the original Dorothy in the workshops, if you know who Sutton Foster is.
Yes, I love Sutton
You're
Foster.
connected to Sutton now.
Yes, so she was Fanny and Dorothy in the ensemble of the
She was
first ever
both.
Wicked reading. So there was a world in which Dorothy had lines at one point.
Oh my
Wicked
gosh.
as a
And you
musical.
and Bowen share
Now you and
a
Bowen
common
share
source.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I was really sad because I didn't get to meet Bowen because our time on set and narratives.
Well,
naturally
Fanny
didn't
would be a
collide.
fan of Dorothy.
They
Fanny would be
would
all over Dorothy.
all day long.
I think so. I feel like Fanny would have absolutely wanted my shoes as well. Oh my God.
Yeah, you would have had to
your
like watch
Dorothy
out.
Also didn't need the wash and brush up, I'm just realizing. They
No.
were like,
She was
they
fine.
would have been like, your hair's good.
She was fine.
Yeah.
not a curl
Don't
out.
send her there.
Don't
No,
send her there. No.
she's okay.
I feel like I would see Fanny and Shen Shen at the Wash and Brush Up, like trying to talk to Dorothy.
Be like, hey
Yes.
girl, so
Cutscene.
you want to
Like,
hang?
who made your dress? Wow.
Yes,
I would
yes.
live for that deleted scene.
Oh my
But
God,
were
thank
there
you.
any rules or like how did they go about being like you can't say that you're in this film or like a timeline of when you would be announced or anything you can share there or any fun rumors that you
That you
heard?
liked.
Because our
Yes.
friend Tori, everyone was like, Tori from the Oz Vlog's gonna be Dorothy. And she was like,
We
you
all
guys, no.
we fanned the flame a lot for that
We
because that was
did. We
fun.
spread these
Hey,
rumors.
that's okay. And you know what? It was so, I mean, it's my first entrance into film. I haven't done
Yeah.
any other
A great
movies.
entrance
Yes,
of a film
exactly.
to start in.
I know.
Yes.
I'm so excited to continue. And, you know, I'm so new to really tightly bound NDAs and I guess
For
like
sure.
the marketing strategy behind movies. That has been a huge learning curve, I think, as an actor. I mean, I'm lucky because I've got very thick skin and my mindset is bulletproof. So, you know, I understand why they do things. I know it's not personal, it's just business. I also own a business, so I adopted that same mindset. So, you know, when
Yeah.
I signed my NDA, I was like, okay, great. So I'm not going to tell anyone. I told my immediate family, because they needed to know where I was going in a lovely big black Mercedes
Yeah.
at four
Like,
o'clock in the morning.
what's
They're looking
happening?
at your Apple
Yeah,
A
location. They're
black
like,
Mercedes.
yeah. My
why
mum,
Elstree
I'm
Studios?
going to Squid Games. Like,
yeah,
what's happening?
yeah. And like, you know, this lovely man in a suit picking me up, and my mum would have just been like, "Where are you going?" You
Oh
know,
yeah.
and my mum would be that person, that curtain twitcher looking out of the window as well if I didn't tell her. So, you know, naturally for safety, I told my parents. But I
Right.
took it very seriously. I didn't tell anyone because I just was so worried that someone
For
would
sure.
discover who I was, and I guess I was worried about getting in trouble, if I'm really honest.
Yeah.
So
Universal
I'd feel the same. I'd be
spies
like, I don't need
everywhere.
Universal on my back. Okay.
yeah,
Right.
Universal are big dogs, and I don't think Toto would be able to fight them off. So
Yeah. They're the
I
alpha.
yeah, and you know they've been wonderful in the sense of you know allowing me to do this role. So naturally, I have to respect that NDA, and yeah, it was one of those things where I just kind of had to wait and watch things pan out, and you know
Yeah.
it was such a unique circumstance because you know, it's Wicked, it's not The Wizard of Oz, but Dorothy is teased in the trailer. She's also kind of shown a lot more in the narrative and also in the trailer. So naturally, because so many people love Judy Garland and Dorothy herself and The Wizard of Oz, people naturally wanted to know who was playing Dorothy. But I think where it's that kind of reverse psychology, isn't it? Like the less you tell people, the more they want to know.
And the more
Right.
So
insane it
you know,
gets.
this kind of
The
like
crazier the
wave,
rumors.
yeah, like the wave of speculation, I think just was creeping higher and higher. And, you know, I was very much in the shadows and I got to kind of observe and watch all the speculation of, you know, Alicia Weir, who I must
Mhm.
say has been beautifully media trained. I was like, well done. Um, and it was a wonderful answer. I was like, good for you. And you know, I hope it benefited her career as much as, you know, and finally being able to say I'm Dorothy, it's benefited mine. So, you know, I was like, good for her. And I think my favourite speculation was Hilary Duff. And I love
Stop
Hilary Duff.
it.
I grew up
Why though?
She's
with
on
the
her
Hilary
Liz
Duff.
world
with Lizzie
tour.
McGuire. Yeah, I
Yeah.
grew up. I went to her concert when I was 11 in
Hilary
the
Duff.
UK. It was the best day of my life, and you know the Lizzie McGuire movie. So I was like, wow, everyone thinks it's Hilary Duff for like 10 minutes. I was like, but it's me. We're kind of weirdly
We're
connected.
connected now.
Yeah, and it was just you know, and I kind of was
It's
quite
hilarious.
yeah, I mean, it was quite relieving because, you know, the more speculation it was for bigger names, the more it pushed me into the shadows. I felt safer. So I didn't
Yeah, you're
mind
like,
all the
sure, throw those
speculation.
names out there.
Yeah. You know,
Total
it'll make
surprise.
my kind of entrance into the public eye a little bit more dramatic.
Yes.
And yeah, it was so surreal though, because, I then asked my agent, I was like, I'm just checking it's still me, right? She's like, yeah, it's still you. I was like, okay, I'm just
Yeah,
checking.
you're like, did they replace me with Hilary Duff?
Yeah,
Like, what happened?
yeah. Is this not a normal marketing strategy? Should I be
Right,
worried? She's
right.
like, no, it's fine. But I've just not done it before. So, it was all a big
Yeah.
learning curve for me.
And
And
the internet was very present for this film, which is not the case for
yes,
This
everything, but
was a
this
pop
Wicked,
culture
yeah, Wicked comes
takeover.
with so much chatter. Just the girls on the West End and Broadway alone.
Speculation.
Yeah,
yeah,
like it's just there's always been like an online fourth wall that has been
Discourse.
broken. Yeah,
yeah.
discourse
And
that's
I
always been
love,
there.
I love that as well. And I've said in quite a lot of my interviews regarding Wicked, I just adore the Wicked fans. They're so smart. They're very emotionally intelligent, and I love how much they connect little things in the narrative to something or someone else. No other film or franchise, I think, has ever had that response. For example, my obviously Toto had a lead in the movie, and instead of people jumping to
Oh, the leash.
conclusions, yeah, I loved
Yeah,
how they
that
linked
was a
it.
whole thing.
Yeah, I
Even
loved
for
how they
us.
linked it. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I loved how they linked it to Elphaba discovering the leash, and her anger towards Dorothy intensifying because of the animal
We were in that
cruelty
camp.
theme. Yeah,
That
but
was my thought for sure.
yeah, but how clever to link it to the story instead of being, jumping to conclusion and thinking, oh, they're being cruel to the animal. And, the reason why we had that leash was, I assume it was for safety reasons, because where
Right.
we were filming outside and we were on really huge sets with hundreds of people with, fire and big turning mechanisms. When we were filming on the Yellow Brick Road in Munchkinland, it was outside. There was a big body of water on the other side. So I naturally
Oh
assumed it
yeah.
was for safety. And where I'm from in the UK, if you don't have your dog on a lead, oh my gosh, you are scolded. And I live near a huge body of water. We have a river weaving through my town. And my Pilates studio that I run is right by the river. The amount of dogs I've just seen frolicking and running, and then 10
Yeah.
minutes later, you see owners
That's
running past. Yeah,
scary.
it's scary,
I
right?
just got a dog a couple months ago and I was walking him today and I saw the cutest puppy or cutest dog, but he didn't have his leash on and I was like, oh, my
It's
heart
so,
hurts. It makes me really
yes,
nervous.
me too. And
So,
there's an element of danger. And I guess when
yeah.
you're on a big set,
Yeah. That's a
and
whole added
I mean,
yeah,
Terry, who
aspect.
played Toto in the MGM film, got stepped on, broken ankle. So
yeah,
Yes.
it goes to
It's a
show
little tiny
that
dog.
if there
yeah,
is not a way to, I guess, have a hand on the dog the whole time, there is like, you are opening that animal up to being
The
injured. And like,
danger.
it's not like
yeah,
this was the Wizard of Oz. The dog is not being used
exactly.
nearly
Right.
as much.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I'm really honest, I kind of was just, when I first met Oscar, even for my screen test on the Yellow Brick Road, it was Oscar's audition. So I was just
Oscar!
yeah,
His
I was just,
audition!
yeah, I was just
Oscar was
happy
looking
to
at you like,
leave.
girl, don't
He
mess
was
this
like,
up.
we better have
Yeah,
good chemistry in this chemistry
yeah,
test.
we better. Well, in my screen test, I was given two dogs, one called Rango,
Oh,
and
Rango. Sorry
one
about
called,
it.
I know, and then
Sorry,
Oscar got the
Rango.
role. Sorry, Rango Dove.
Rango!
I know. So it was, I presumed it was for safety reasons. And, I'm quite glad actually, because, when we were filming The Witch Hunt, there were hundreds of people on set. There was fire.
Yeah.
There was this wonderful actor doing a war cry.
A
There
man
was,
made of tin.
yeah, there was cameras. There was that big turning fountain. There was loud music. So, like it was quite overstimulating, not just for myself, but also for Oscar. And
Yeah.
he was so well looked after, though. I mean, my basket, you can't see it in any of the shots, but it was full of dog spam. Oscar ate well.
He
every
had
single
lots
time.
of treats, don't
Yeah, he
worry.
had he had a
He
water
He was
misses
break.
taken
you.
care of.
There was
Pup
one day
cups
on set.
galore.
Yeah, there was one day on set where I literally carried him all day, like a little prince.
Hard day on the job for
I
Oscar.
know. We were filming the witch hunt where Ethan is singing, and he was singing beautifully live on set.
Mm.
And John wanted me to carry Oscar, and we were filming from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 p.m. in the evening. It got to about like 3 p.m. and Oscar started to fall asleep on my shoulder. So I
Mm.
think in a couple of the shots, he's just resting his head and
Oh.
snoozing on my shoulder. And he would
While
often like
Ethan is
hold.
like killing her, like he's like
I
screaming,
know. Ethan's like
and
belting
Oscar's
out like
out.
every
Give
single
Oscar the
take.
Oscar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oscar's like I can't be
exactly.
bothered.
I know. And bless, he would always put his paw out for me so I could hold his hand. And
Right.
I know, and I don't like big crowds and loud noise and bright lights. So he was essentially in that moment almost like an emotional support. And dogs are very intuitive and empathetic animals. So
Yeah.
I wonder if he sensed that I was a little bit nervous.
And he was there for you.
Oh,
And he was there. So he was
Love
so
you, Oscar.
wonderful. Yeah, such a wonderful dog. I'd be really honest, I don't think he'd recognize me unless I was wearing that blue gingham
that
dress.
makes
I
sense.
think he
That's the
associated,
the
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
I think he
Or
associated the
the slippers.
dress
Hmm.
and the slippers. I think he
You needed a
associated
date.
both of those things with me feeding him all day. So he'd freak out when he'd see me
Treats.
and he'd be so happy and he wouldn't listen to anyone else. So I do think he'd
Yep.
recognize me now unless I was wearing the shoes and the dress. So yeah, it was really it was such a lovely role to play and have like the added bonus of having this wonderful dog as well. So I
Yeah.
was really grateful that I got to have him. He was a great companion on set.
We love you, Oscar.
We
Oh my
love you, Oscar.
goodness. Well, skipping ahead to your premiere experiences, what
Yeah.
was that like, especially having to maybe go incognito and not like, I'm not sure how that worked for part one and part two. What was that like?
Yes, so I didn't attend part one. I guess you only see
Okay.
Dorothy for like 2, 3 seconds at the beginning
Right,
on the
Right.
the
Yellow Brick
beginning.
Road. And for
Yeah.
part two, they kindly invited me, and I kind of, but was also then told that my role wouldn't be publicized at the event. And it was maybe like 11 days before the movie was being released. So I went in full glam, but I was hidden in plain sight, so no one knew who I was, which was
Crazy.
surreal. I almost felt like
Yeah.
a bit of a shapeshifter because, me and my lovely agent Lindsay, who came with me, we obviously knew that I was playing Dorothy, and everyone else who knew me knew as well. But, the crowd and everyone else, they had no idea who I was. So I was there and I actually got to enjoy the full experience, but without kind of having to do any interviews or
Right.
answer any questions. I could just go and have a lovely time, which I did. And
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
the after party was lovely. I was just really grateful that they invited me. It was really nice to kind of see everyone again. I had a lovely chat with Johnny and said hi, and yeah, we were just chatting about our experience. And yeah, I'm going to LA on the weekend, so I'm manifesting that he's going to be there just to reconnect again. But it was just so
Oh,
surreal to watch myself on the screen. I think even I've watched it a couple of times with my parents and my partner, and at the premiere, and I still don't think I've quite visually ingested that that's me on the screen. And
yeah.
yeah, it's a weird, wonderful feeling actually. And just being like, God, that's me on the credits. It's so
I'm
lovely.
sure it's surreal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so surreal. And it's such a nice achievement after all this time to see my name up there next to Dorothy. So yeah, it was really great experience. I've never been to a movie premiere. What a chance in a lifetime. And
Yeah.
yeah, I hope I get to go to many more.
Us
Love
too.
it.
That's incredible. Okay,
So
we're gonna
cool.
play a little game with you. This is gonna be fun. So I don't know if you know this. Judy Garland had a stand-in for her named Bobby Cochet, who is
Mhm.
seen a bunch of times in the actual Wizard of Oz film. So we are going to give you some instances. Of course, it's usually not something with a face present. That's usually often Judy, but these are always times with like back turned. It's actually credited to being Bobby Cochet instead of Judy, especially since they were working around child labor laws for Judy. So Bobby would step in,
Yes.
do some filming for her. So we're gonna play a game called Is It Bobby? Is It Judy? We're gonna name an instance and you do your best guess, or if you know, you know. Awesome.
Yeah.
You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Dorothy falling into the pigsty in the Kansas scenes.
Whee! Oh, is that Bobby?
Bobby.
Ding, ding,
One for
ding.
one.
Yay.
Woo!
Whew.
Yeah, whew. You're in. You're in.
I'm in.
Okay. Dorothy trying to open the storm cellar door in the tornado. Just like pulling it open.
Oh, oh, it might have been quite heavy. Is that Bobby?
That one is Judy.
That is Judy.
But that's
Oh,
a good, I like that line of
I like it.
thinking.
Yeah, I like how you assess that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's heavy.
Okay. Dorothy opening the door into a Technicolor Munchkin land.
Well, I think I remember watching on a documentary. So in the tea-stained world,
I love
Bobby
that tea
walks
stain.
through,
Yes,
and then
yes,
into like the colorful world is Judy. So that's
yes,
how they did it, so that the
yes.
transition worked. So it was like
They
Bobby
painted
and
her too.
Judy. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, no
Crazy.
way.
Yeah, she had a sepia tint because they very
So
much wanted
cool.
her to blend in
Oh my
with the
gosh, that
set.
can't be legal now. Oh my gosh.
So many things from that set
So
Chemicals
were
are
many
not.
shady
Yes,
news.
were
yours.
not poisoning
Yeah.
people. You know, there's a lot
Great.
happening on that
Lots of
No
set.
one's
issues.
no one's paid enough to be poisoned, right?
We're
Oh
gonna
my
give you a
goodness.
No.
point extra for that because you gave like a fully realized
That was
answer.
a
So you are three for
full, yeah,
three.
Cute.
you get
Yes.
double.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
great.
analysis. Ooh.
Okay, we have the infamous hanging munchkin scene, if you've heard that rumor. It's a crane, but people are like, there, it looks like there's this thing off in the distance. It's a crane.
It's just a
So,
crane.
yeah, I'm glad you haven't heard of it. It's a crazy Oz rumor that people are passionate about.
Myth.
It's
Yes.
just a
But this is when Dorothy is walking down the yellow brick road for the first time with the Tin Man and Scarecrow as they leave the Tin Man's cabin. So it's after the Tin Man sings, "If I Only Had a Heart," and they're walking down the road.
We're off to see a wizard. Yeah.
We're off to see
Ooh.
the wizard.
Just
Now,
backs.
now is that Judy? Because there's a little snippet where she's talking about skipping down the yellow brick road, and she's like managing the scarecrow and she's managing
Oh,
the
I
Tin
love that
Man.
you're
Because I had the
remembering that.
same experience when I did my screen test, and I was managing like Johnny being all floppy like the scarecrow, and then I was managing Ethan being really rigid. So I kind of was just like, okay, I'm just gonna go with it and see what happens. I don't do these steps perfectly. So is that Judy?
That's
It is
Judy!
Judy. And there's a turnaround
Yay!
moment where they point.
So
So there is
good.
like
Yeah.
a face moment that comes in. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent
Oh,
job. We have two
so
more.
fun. Crushing it.
Okay. Dorothy walking trepidatiously down the wizard's corridor with the trio. So same kind of energy. We're seeing them walk shakily
Ooh.
to the wizard's throne room.
Ooh. Oh gosh, it could be either or, right?
It's a tough
Hmm.
one.
I'm
Trust
gonna
yourself.
say, is that Judy? Is it?
Yes. And there
Yay!
are test shots. I would have given you either because Bobby has test shots doing it, but we don't think, from what we know, Bobby made it onto the film. She did some
Right.
stand-in work for it, but probably didn't make
Right.
it onto the
Yeah.
film.
That's so cool. I love that she was credited. To be fair, my
We love
stand-in,
Bobby.
oh, good old Bobby. What a lovely name for a woman
Bobby
as well.
Cochet.
I love
Bobby
that name for a woman.
Cochet.
So cool.
We remember her.
What a queen. I think my stand-in was called Shona, as she was the year above me at my 2 years above me at my drama school. And she was
Whoa.
so
Gotcha.
lovely. I was like, oh my, she said, oh, you were the 2 years below me. I was like, oh my gosh. And then the
What a
dance
small
double,
world.
I know. I mean, this is a lovely thing about doing a musical movie. I saw lots and lots and lots of people from my drama school and even like
Love
past
it.
auditions in the crowd. I even had been to a wedding like 2 weeks before, and we were filming The Witch Hunt. And then a lady who had attended called Karen, she was one of the Munchkins, came up to me and was like, Bethany, hi. I was like, oh my gosh, we were at the same wedding like 3 weeks ago.
That is crazy.
I know. What a lovely world of Oz. It just brings everyone together. Hey, it's
It
lovely.
really does.
We
Yeah.
understand.
All right, our last one of this game.
Yes.
Dorothy going up in the air with the monkeys
Like
when they
you
take
did.
Dorothy. Yeah, just like you
Oh,
did.
oh yeah. Now I'm gonna try through a logical lens. I guess if there were child labor laws floating about at that time, maybe it wasn't the safest thing to take Judy Garland up. So is that Bobby?
It's Bobby, her little feet
You
feet
Yay!
crushed
are what we
this.
see clicking in the
Yay!
film.
Just like your little
Great
feet.
work.
That's one of
I
my
know
favorite
Yes.
parts of the
that
You
was
and
film.
Bobby
that
share
was me.
something.
Yes!
I
Oh my gosh!
cackled. I was like, what a cool POV.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Such a clever shot, right? Like the bird's eye view, and I can confirm that is my scream.
Excellent work. Really
Fully,
Yes.
and I'm pretty
blood-curdling.
sure they used the whole recording as well. I screamed for a long time into that microphone. And what was so wonderful, that was one of my favorite days on set where I was picked up. And I was in a harness and I just had this wonderful giant man just pulling me almost like a show curtain up into the air. And I'm very petite, so I
So
shot
fun.
up into the air. And I then you naturally when you do a film, and I didn't know this, so originally I'm not screaming when we were doing the first few takes, and then John was asking, oh, can you be a bit more frantic and be a bit more fearful in your movement? So I said, can I scream, is that okay? He was like, yeah, sure, if that's what you want. I was like, great. And then like 2 seconds before they said action, I was like, oh my God, I've not screamed since I was 8 and I was 29 when I filmed that
Screaming is
scene.
Yeah.
weird.
How do
Yeah,
I
Screaming
screaming is
is
scream
weird as
weird.
an adult.
without shredding my vocal
It's
cords?
also just like
Yeah,
very loud and startling and
it's
I don't
Yeah.
very,
know.
it rockets up the cortisol. So, I don't naturally do it. So I thought, my God, I'm not going to be able to, I haven't screamed since I
Why did
was
I
eight
ask
years
if I
old.
can do
Why did I
this?
do this? And then I thought, okay, I'm just going to have to do it and see what comes out. So I had a little microphone in my dress. So I just was like, I'm going to scream now. So if you want to just take your ears out. So then, you know,
Oh,
John just shouted action, and then I just let out this enormous scream, and everyone was like this. And I was like, oh, wow, I can still do it.
I
Wow,
did
I did it.
The
And then John was like, yeah, wow, amazing. That's exactly what I want. Can you do it again? And I was
scream
like,
was what
yeah,
was
it. The
missing.
scream
yeah,
worked.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
It was great.
I even hear like Judy's scream. Like Judy has like a ah when she goes up.
yeah,
Yeah,
They've
there's
put
gotta
I've
be.
in.
really, I
Yeah,
had a nice
there's a scream.
undertone of a nice, like, soft note through there as well. So my singing, yeah,
Nice and
Ah,
voice.
singing
just on a
to
nice little pitch.
yeah, it was really
Oh
well
my
pitched
God.
actually. I was really proud. So then I finished the shot, and when you have to do a sound effect in a scene, you have to record it separately, which I didn't realize. So I had to just stand still on set, and someone had this like huge microphone, and there were like 60, 70 people on set. And I just had to scream for like 12 seconds at the top of my lungs. And then I finished and I went, okay, I'm done now. And then everyone, yay, and clapped.
Okay, I'm done now.
Yay, I'm done now. So
So cute.
that I can confirm is my scream from my 29-year-old lungs. I'm 30 now, but it's yeah, I was so proud of
Forever
myself.
preserved.
Yeah, and I was very, very, very proud of that moment. And it was another moment where I was like, well, gonna have to just see what
Is it
happens.
gonna make it in? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Love
and it
that.
did. So I was very proud of that. That is my claim to fame. That is my scream.
Mm, love
Yay!
it.
Oh,
That's
Bethany, this has
me.
been so much fun getting to chat with you about your time on the Yellow Brick Road and how
Such a
like
blast.
much this means to you. And I think we were chatting before we jumped on of like you like have such a Dorothy feel to you of like coming from an ordinary day into an extraordinary world, like of this
Yeah.
movie making magical land, one of the biggest movie musicals to happen. You're like on a set for the first
Absolutely.
time. It's just so cool to see you take this on in and be so candid in your conversations, and to see your gratitude also ringing through all of this is just So beautiful. So we're so happy we got to chat with you. We wish you well for the next Yellow Brick Road walk that you may go
Yes,
on
thank you. I
without
hope it
Comfortable
Oscar,
shoes moving
continues.
forward.
I know. I really
without
hope
Oscar
that like the
though.
next role I book, I can somehow weave a
Get
dog
him
into
in
it.
there.
Yeah,
Get
Yes.
him
like
in.
like
Get
Kate from
Oscar back.
Bridgerton. Yeah, Kate from Bridgerton has
Yes.
corgi. Oh my gosh, that would be a dream. So yes, we can manifest
Yeah,
the next
it's
role
happening.
with a dog. It's
Yes.
happening. I've said it now. It's
Or
gonna
like, would you do Wicked on the West End? Is that something you'd ever revisit?
happen.
Like if it made
Well,
sense.
if it made sense, yes. And I probably would love the opportunity to explore Nessa Rose. And, I think for me going from playing Dorothy, it would be so interesting and I think quite
It'd be
fulfilling
fun.
actually. Yeah,
To play the
to
witch
like,
that you killed.
yeah, to play the witch that I killed. Yeah. And,
I've brought her back.
Empathetic journey.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I
Ah.
think that would I know that sounds a little bit twisted, but
No,
in
we're here
a
for
way
it.
No,
it
we
would be
get
so
it.
interested to explore kind of like the previous owner of the shoes. So if I was going to be
Ah,
any role in the West End in Wicked, I'd definitely love to explore Nessa Rose. And also my best friend plays her in Wicked in town at the moment. So it'd be so honorable to kind of take
so
it over
fun.
from her in some way. But yeah, yeah, I think that would be the role I'd love to explore. I think definitely if it made sense, I would do it. But for now, I'm really pursuing my continuous journey in film. So I'm manifesting
Yeah.
Yay.
that something, in the shape of a period drama will, you know,
Yes.
somehow make its way into my life. So I'm just going to keep working hard and keep doing my thing and just keep being myself. And, the right role will arrive at the right time.
Beautiful,
Oh, we
Bethany.
love it. We can't wait to watch and support. Well, for
Thank
our
you.
final question that we ask all of this is from our Slipperhood series. So those who have played Dorothy or have a connection with her, which is obviously where you land. So if you could design your own pair of the slippers, first of all, what would they look like? Are they ruby? Are they silver? Do they sparkle? Are they Converse? And what would they empower you to do?
Ooh, I would definitely go with almost weaving back to the Laduca heel. I
Yeah,
wonder, I wonder what a Dorothy inspired Laduca heel would look like.
like a
And
tornado on the heel.
Yes.
yeah,
Bob
I think
Fosse,
that,
Dorothy.
oh my gosh, I think, the Laduca
Gwen
boot in
Verdon,
red.
Dorothy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, a
Yeah.
Laduca boot in like
Hmm.
red rubies with a like tornado heel. That would
Oh,
be
If you go
just
to auditions with your
mesmerizing.
hair and those heels, you're booked.
like
I book every
you're
job.
booking. You're booking
Yeah.
You're
it.
booked. Don't have to
I
do
just
I'd
anything.
leave the
Yeah,
audition. Get
I
out.
I know,
just
I'd
like
see
put
that.
my
I'm like, I
heel
can't
in
do
the
this.
door. Job done.
Yeah, just put the foot in.
Thank you. Yeah,
So good.
I would definitely,
So good.
definitely a Laduca boot, full ruby slippified with a tornado heel. And
Yes.
I think especially with the way the world is going at the moment, it's just frightening and ridiculous, if I'm honest. So, I would love the shoes to kind of spark a little bit more of unity and peace because peace
Can
is
you
so
imagine?
underrated. Yeah, it just seems so simple, right? Yeah, it's so like
That would be
hard to
transformative.
achieve. Yeah, it would be transformative for just everyone across the globe. And I think a really wonderful thing that I'm so honored to carry as part of one of the legacies now of Dorothy is kind of what Dorothy represents. And I think that's why the wave of joy for the announcement of me playing Dorothy is just because Dorothy represents joy. She represents acceptance. She's continues on through hardship and she accepts anyone in her path and she wants to help them. And all of those qualities in Dorothy, and we've got lots of Dorothys before me to thank for that, but I would love to wear those shoes and that to spark that kind of journey to just peace and a bit more humility and celebration of each other. Like we don't need to we don't need to bomb each other. It's ridiculous. It doesn't solve anything. And it's so easy to be kind to people. I don't understand why people find it so difficult. And I'd love those shoes to spark a bit more peace. So if I had a superpower and a pair of shoes to represent that, I would just love to bring a bit more of peace and light to the world. And I think that's what Dorothy does, and I think that's what she represents. So I'm so proud to represent that, and I will do anything in my power to promote that. So I'm coming to LA next on the weekend, so I really hope I can share a bit more of that what I'm doing. So it's really wonderful idea. I wish now that LaDuca will make those shoes, ruby LaDuca boots with a
Make
2 heel,
them.
please, for world peace. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Woohoo!
what a great answer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
this was so fun. We're truly so, so grateful. And we'll link all of your socials in the show notes so listeners can go and follow, even
if
though
they're not
we're
already.
among the OGs.
We are among the
If they're
first,
not
okay,
all,
not
yeah, are
you.
already following.
Of course, I appreciate your support and
Of course.
continuous support. It means so much to me.
Yes.
And, like I said, I just love the Wicked fans. They're the kindest people. And, this is my kind of little tiptoe into the public eye. I've been so
Yeah.
like overjoyed with the influx of kindness, which, social media doesn't always bring and welcome that. So I'm really grateful
Right.
that everyone's just been so lovely. And,
It
complete
can be a good
strangers.
witch.
Yeah, and complete strangers saying, I'm so proud of you. You're
Yeah.
so
Oh,
wonderful. Thank you for bringing Dorothy back to life. I've had lots of
oh,
friends of
it's true.
Dorothy say thank you. And I'm like, no, thank you. So, I'm just so grateful that there's so many wonderful Wicked fans out there. So I love you all deeply. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you,
Dorothy loves
Bethany.
you.
Dorothy
Just know
Yes,
loves
that.
you. We love you,
Dorothy
We love
loves
Dorothy.
you,
you. We
whoever
love
you
you.
are. I love you.
All right. Thank you, listeners. We'll see you in the
Thank
next one.
you.
Thanks, Bethany.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.